Right, hey guys, how are we doing? Back on another video from Swagkage. How cool is this? The return is real. The legend himself is back on the regular uploads by the looks of it. And we got, what if Naruto could use every jutsu? I think it's going to be a fun one. I like how Swag doesn't do everything as like a completely serious breakdown, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, what if Naruto could use every jutsu? Let's get into it.
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
Yo!
Swagkage here. So this video is just gonna be fun. This is
Nice.
probably one of the goofiest video topics I've come up with for any video on my channel
I've reacted to all of these. I love his videos.
in like the many years that I've been making videos. And like it's not like a stupid question in and of itself, but it's one of those things where it's kind of like something like a fifth grader or whatever would ask like after finishing Naruto. You know, like, well, Naruto's strong, but how strong would he be if he could use all the jutsu in the whole series ever? You know,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
there's really no practical application for the information you're gonna get from this video. Like, you're never ever gonna be able to use it in any meaningful way in your
Yeah, like, it's not going to be, like, power scaling references or things, no.
This is just a fun thought exercise that kind of highlights how clearly a lot of these abilities were designed to be used individually, like in isolation. You may have already heard him, by the way, but I got my buddy Six here. We're just gonna be talking through this. We're going to start with the lower level stuff, the less ridiculous ways that this would affect Naruto, but by the time we get to the end of the video, we're going to be focusing on like the late Boruto stuff and like the really crazy things that Naruto will be able to do. And it's gonna sound like my dad could beat up your dad, like type of
Yeah.
or whatever, because like we're gonna make Naruto sound super strong, but it's not just
Because he's super strong anyway.
we like Naruto that we're gonna be talking about him like this. All of these jutsu being used in conjunction with one another, it just like inevitably results in a really stupidly powerful character.
Of course.
And it's not like this isn't something that gets talked
Oh,
about.
it's so cool that they're back together.
I mean, you see it on Twitter every
You know what I mean? Not like that. Like, yeah.
like 2 weeks. You know, Naruto with every jutsu versus Luffy with every devil fruit versus Ichigo with every Bankai and Goku with infinite ki. So use it for that. Whatever we say here, use it to say Naruto would be the one to win that little scuffle.
Yeah, the only ones who are worth talking about at all there are Goku and Naruto. Like, I'm not hating on One Piece or Bleach here. Haven't
No,
even
but
finished Bleach yet.
you're not wrong. Power scaling wise, the verses are just so much stronger.
And it's not like I don't like Luffy, but Luffy with every devil fruit, it's not even a conversation when you compare like the way that Naruto having every jutsu would affect him. But that's enough of the introduction here. Let me really quickly, before we start talking about all of the jutsu, explain what I mean by every jutsu, because it's not just every ninjutsu. It's every ninjutsu, taijutsu, genjutsu, senjutsu, and shinjutsu. And for those of you who aren't caught up with Boruto, shinjutsu are these crazy like god jutsu that,
Yeah.
you know, the Otsutsuki use, and characters like Damon and Ada
Absolute crazy stuff.
all used. Some of them were, well, all of them actually were created by this crazy god dude named Shibai, and we'll get to him and his ability and how it affects Naruto, but pretty much anything that exists in the series that isn't like a weapon or something, Naruto is going to have access to. So, you want to start? You want to start focusing on like the lower level stuff?
Yeah, okay. I guess a very simple one, right, would just be lightning release chakra. With the right Kage. It makes him much faster. It makes him more durable. It makes his reaction speeds faster. Curse mark. Curse mark.
Yeah.
Damn, okay.
So this is one of the... It doesn't sound like... When you list all of these things individually, it doesn't sound that crazy, right? Like lightning release...
Yeah, but if you stack them all on top of each other.
Chakra mode, the curse mark. But Naruto gets access to every amp style jutsu in the whole series. So he has the Raikage's cloak, the curse mark, and it wouldn't just be Sasuke's curse mark either, because he would have Sasuke's curse mark, Kimimura's curse
You're
mark,
giving them all of them.
all the curse marks from the Sound 4, and then Jugo's Senjutsu, and be able to stack them all together. And then he would also have like the Choji butterfly mode, KCM2, all the stuff that he already has, like KCM2, which is Kurama Link mode, Sage mode, Baryon mode, which is really, really, really strong already.
Karma.
Yeah, the Karmas from Boruto. He would have like other like minor amps like Kakazu's transformation.
The one jutsu Momoshiki uses to turn Kinshiki into a fruit.
Yeah, he would be able to do that to his clones or whatever.
Oh my god.
Those clones and get stronger. He would also have 100 healings, Kisame Shark Fusion, every Sage mode, the 8th Gate, the Tensegon, all that stuff. So, like,
it's ridiculous.
He's walking out of the gate with, like, just insane stats compared to everybody else in the series. He would also have the 10 Tails Jinchuriki buffs on top of the, like, normal 6-path Sage mode that he already has. And if you think that, like, Naruto's nerfed or whatever in Boruto, then I guess you just, like, say that he gets back 6-path Sage mode, even though he already has it. If you're one of those people who doesn't believe that he does for whatever reason, well, he gets that back, too.
So, I mean, he pretty much has every relevant amp. Some of these amps are multiplicative, right? Like, the curse mark is multiplicative. So, like, I guess maybe it would depend on the order in which he uses them. But, I don't know, let's say he uses every other amp first, curse mark 2 last, and all of that gets multiplied by 10. Even the other ones that already had the multipliers on it. Like, it's potentially, Baryon mode is, like, billions of times of an amp due to, like, nuclear fusion or whatnot. And then that times 10. And then, Sage mode, some people say that's times 10.
Yeah, they're all kind of multipliers, aren't they? Yeah.
That times 10. And, maybe KCM is like 10,000 times of an amp because of, like, what happened to Kakashi and all the other journey, or all the other members of the Shinobi Alliance. So, you really get a character here who has, like, limitless layers of exponents to go up in strength when you give Naruto all these amps.
Yeah, it's pretty stupid. And then, of course, he has the stat amps that come with having a Sharingan, a Rinnegan, Mangekyo Sharingan. And speaking of, this is still kind of on the lower end, believe it or not. But he has every Mangekyo Sharingan ability, every Rinnegan ability, every Dojutsu.
Yo, so he'd have like Shinsui's thing where he could just control people. Excuse me. Oh, he'd have also the insta-kill attack that, what's it called? That Danzo had, which was Shinsui's other eye. Whoa, and oh my god.
And so you might ask yourself, like, how, like, I don't know, he has a bunch of eyes on his face, maybe like Danzo-style Sharingan arm. Who cares? He has...
Or he could just flicker between, like, select which eye he wants to be using.
all of the jutsu. And so this includes, of course, Amaterasu, Tsukuyomi, Enton Kagetsuchi, Koro Matsukami, both versions of Kamui.
Yo. Oh, yo. Kamui would be sick as well. Oh.
Jutsu, and even, I guess...
So we can make it, he could, like, phase through people and teleport people away. Yo.
Madara's time control ability.
Oh, from the game.
Generations.
Yeah.
You want to include that, too. He would also have every person Susanoo, and I don't know if you want to grant him the ability to stack them on top of each other, but I don't see why he wouldn't be able to do it. So what I'm imagining here is he drops Itachi Susanoo, then puts Sasuke's around that, the way, like, Madara put the Susanoo around
the fox,
or Naruto
yeah.
had Sasuke wrap his Kurama avatar in the Susanoo. He would be able to do that, but, like, with different Susanoos. Then he puts Madara's on top of that, then Kakashi's on top of that. And then if you want to include, like, Shisui's too, I guess you can throw that in there. And, like, the other filler Susanoo's, like, Hagoromo's.
Yeah.
Throw in the Yadamir and the Tosca blade.
There's, like, extra layers of protection over other Susanoo's, but Kakashi's and Itachi's specifically are extremely special. So we know, obviously, Kakashi's has the Kamui Shuriken, right? And then Itachi's has both the Tosca blade and Yadamir.
Yeah.
Basically turn this, like, 5-layer perfect Susanoo defense into an even more perfect defense with the perfect offense.
With the offense, yeah.
And then,
Yeah.
Kamui Shuriken on top of that. So, I mean, like I said before, really the sky is the limit with this. When it comes
And,
to
I mean,
It's ridiculous.
So, like I was saying earlier at the beginning of the video, too, these are not mutually exclusive abilities. Like, the stacked Susanoo with all of the stacked amps aren't things that he has to choose between. He can use them all at the same
time,
So
right.
he's running around in, like, Baryon mode with, like, the 8th gate open and 100 healings active with Choji's butterfly wings and with, like, Curse Mark 2 from all the different curse marks in Tensegon Chakra mode, in Kisame Shark Fusion, with every Sage mode active, including Code Sage mode, Smoke Sage mode, and Hashirama Sage mode. And he has like the Karma mode on top of all that. And then he has these Susanos with the Kamui Shuriken, the Yata Mirror, and the Totsuka Blade. You know, it's like, this is already stupid. Like,
Yeah.
Naruto can't lose to any character in, like, the Naruto verse, aside from maybe, like, Shibai, just based off of what we've talked about him having so far. It's really, really stupid.
And those are just like the amps, right? Those are just like amps to both defense and offense, right? Like, when you talk about other ones of the crazy jutsu he could have, Damon's ability to be able to reflect everything.
Yo.
Intent, then you really get Naruto can't lose to anybody else.
Yeah, and we'll get to that in a little bit, but we haven't even talked about the other versions of, like, protection that he has. He has so many forms of immortality or pseudo immortality or, like, crazy forms of
like
utility.
um
So he's, first of all, literally immortal
Hidan.
if you think that Hidan's immortality was
Alright,
achieved
yep,
through
yep, yep.
jutsu of some kind. Like, he just cannot be killed through physical means, which is, you know. So even if you get past the Yata Mirror and then all 5 of his Susanoo, I think he might have 6, actually, I don't know. Even if you get past the Yata Mirror and all of his Susanoo, you still have to figure out a way to bypass his immortality. Then he has pseudo-immortality through Earth Grudge Fear, which is Kakazu's jutsu that gives him 5
Right.
hearts, and Izanagi. And he has multiple ways to use Izanagi. He has a bunch of Sharingan all over his body that can use Izanagi. And he'll actually probably be able to restore these Sharingan to the way they were. Like, they won't be shut forever. But we'll talk about how he can do that later on in the video. But so Naruto has so many ways to avoid dying. He also has Sasori's, like, puppet core
puppets
thing,
now,
because that was
whoa.
achieved through puppet ninjutsu. And in case you don't remember, the way this works is, like, so Sasori made this, like, little core where he put his personal, like, that he stored his personal essence in, right? And that's how he turned himself into
a puppet, yeah.
And after that puppet body was defeated, the core shot out and went into a different puppet body that Sasori then, like,
Controlled.
his consciousness inhabited. So as this applies to Naruto, he would probably be able to shoot this core into one of his clones, which would then, like, I don't know, maybe that would stop the clone from popping or something. Maybe he'd be able to shoot it into another puppet or whatever, since he'd also have all of Sasori's puppet ninjutsu anyway, like performance of 100 puppets, and he'd have access to Chikamatsu's 10 puppets. There are a lot of ways that he could just, like, stop himself from being killed, because, you know, you have to get through the Yata Mirror, like we said, all the Susanos, then you have to kill him 5 times. Then if you do that, he has Izanagi. And then if you somehow get through all his Izanagis, he could just use the Sasori puppet core thing. He also has Kamui, like I said.
Which is just mental anyway.
And
That's if you get past Kamui, then you can deal with all of these versions of immortality that he has stacked on top of one another.
And the other thing, too, is that this Naruto, he doesn't have the same weakness that Obito has when he uses Kamui, because Obito can't attack his opponents when he's intangible. Naruto can, first by using Amaterasu.
Oh, of
second
course,
by
right,
using
okay.
the other Kamui from the eye that Kakashi got. Third by using, like, Tsukuyomi and every other Genjutsu that shows up in the series. He can also use puppet ninjutsu, like we just talked about with Sasori. Pretty much any projectile jutsu he can use. He can also
Yeah, that's
projectile
mad.
jutsu stored inside of Kamui. And while we're talking about Kamui, I guess we can get into the... This is one of the dumbest forms of, like, defense that Naruto has, but he also has, like, every dimension hopping jutsu. In
Oh!
He can use Kaguya's
The Rinnegan in
Aminaga,
that.
which is the jutsu that she used to take Naruto and Sasuke to the lava time space, then the ice one, and all those other dimensions that she had access to. He has Kamui, like we said, so he can go into the Kamui dimension, and he has Sukuna Hikona, which is the jutsu that Ishiki and Kawaki used to go into their dimension where, like, time doesn't even pass or whatever.
Whoa.
Right? I don't remember exactly how it works, but isn't it said that there's, like, no time there or something?
Yeah, time doesn't flow there. And they can go there like freely whenever they want.
Yeah. So we'll get into how he can abuse Sukuna Hikona in ways aside from like storing himself there to make it impossible for people to attack him. But what Naruto could do is just keep his real body inside Sukuna Hikona, while inside of Ame no Minaka, while inside Kamui, and then send all his real clones into those dimensions, and then also into like the real world or whatever. So you would have to figure out how to get into Ame no Minaka's different time spaces, and then you would have to, figure out while you're there, being attacked by all of Naruto's clones, figure out how to get into Kamui. Then, while you're in Kamui and being attacked by all of Naruto's clones, figure out how to get into Sukuna Hikona. Then you would finally be able to fight the real Naruto and have to get through his Susanoo, the Yada mirror, his like Kamui phasing ability, Izanagi, kill him 5 times, figure out how to.
It's so ridiculous. I love this.
And so the other thing too is
And
you
be
might
able
be
to
like,
move in 0 time.
yeah.
I'm talking about.
The other thing too, right, is before anybody says, oh well, Hidan's immortality doesn't matter because you can just cut off his head. Naruto has regeneration, like Madara did, like Boro does, and he can also use Kakazu's jutsu to stitch his own body back together. So it doesn't matter.
Yeah, so I mean, it's like Naruto, he's got you in a place where you can't move unless you have infinite or inaccessible speed, whichever one you want to say, I don't care. You can't move unless you have infinite or inaccessible speed, and you can't kill him. Because you have to be able to, if you talk about Boro's
can't
you have to be able to find the core within his body in order to destroy it, which most people can't do. If you talk about Madara's regeneration, Madara can just genuinely regenerate from being cut in half. And then if you talk about both of those combined, and then with Kakazu's regeneration or his tendrils, he can just stitch himself back together even if you do cut off his head. So there's really no way to beat this version of Naruto, and this isn't even the most cracked version. Like, honest to God, this version of Naruto is pretty tame in comparison to what he can do.
Yeah, and well, there's another thing too. Like, we haven't even talked about like the Nine Tails regeneration that he has access to, right? Because Naruto was already, as a kid, able to survive otherwise lethal injuries, like having his lung hit with a Chidori.
Yeah, of course.
Of Nine Tails regeneration. So, like, he already could kind of live through having his vital organs damaged, but now it's like it just straight up wouldn't affect him. Like, if you stabbed him through the heart or like both of his kidneys or whatever, like Hidan, he would just stand there and be like, owie. And like if you decapitate him, he can just regenerate. It might actually end up with him having 2 bodies that are both Naruto and not clones, or something crazy like that. I don't know. But he also, we don't really even need to mention this because it's not like he's going to be fighting anybody else in verse anyway. But he also has immunity to ninjutsu and genjutsu because of the Ten Tails mode thing that Obito and Madara have. So,
yeah, we're just giving him everything, aren't we? Yeah.
Time space that he should be able to travel to is the afterlife because Hagoromo was able to do that. So if you want, yeah, exactly. So if you want to add that as well, Naruto would be able to hide in a dimension, in a dimension, in a dimension, in a dimension.
In the afterlife.
Go through all of those while being chased relentlessly by these super beefed up Naruto clones. And while we're talking about clones, and we're kind of already talking about Sukuna Hikona anyway, let's discuss the whole infinite clone prep time thing that he can do, which essentially means he has infinite chakra too.
Yeah, so obviously chakra regenerates, right? And Naruto can store these clones in a place where no time flows, so they won't pop. And we know that whenever Naruto explodes his clones or tries to get them back, he gets the chakra back from them because that's exactly what he was doing to get his pain whenever he was getting his Sage mode chakra. So hypothetically, Naruto could set up an infinite amount of clones inside of Sukuna Hikona, depending on how big the dimension is, whatever. A lot of clones inside of Sukuna Hikona, and continuously pop them to continuously get his chakra back over and over.
Crazy, this is a mental.
Yep. And he can also like turn them into fruits like we said, using Momoshiki's ability earlier to make himself stronger, like way stronger. Another way that he could possibly amp his stats is doing what Kaguya did and absorbing the expansive Truth Seeker orb. So these are even more stat buffs that he has access to. And this is one reason why Baryon mode should be, it shouldn't have the time limit that it had in the original series, because he could just have his clones use Baryon mode and then pop them.
And it just keeps going. Makes sense. That's cool. That's it.
Exactly. Like there's no time limit to burn out if they're in a dimension that has no time.
Oh, some other extra forms of defense that he has, by the way, that we forgot to mention. He has Suigetsu's hydrification. So even if you bypass all the other stuff, you have to
can
be able
turn
to hit
to
him
water.
even when he turns his body into water. It's basically like the same principle as a One Piece Logia fruit, where he's turning into water and can use it to pass through attacks, kind of like with Kamui. It's just like a weaker Kamui. And he should also have Gaara's automatic sand shield. And since he has the third Kazekage's iron sand and the fourth Kazekage's gold sand, he should be able to make a stronger sand shield than Gaara anyway. And it's also automatic. And it might even surround his Susanoo too. So there are so many fucking layers of defense that you have to bypass with Naruto. No one from One Piece is doing this, okay? You are not hopping into 5 different dimensions and then getting through the the Yata Mirror, and then getting through all the Susanoos.
No, it's not happening. Not happening.
Earth Grudge Fear 5 times, and then getting through Hidon's Immortality, and then getting through Izanagi, all while he can hydrificate, and he has the automatic sand shield, and he can regenerate, and he has the sorcery core thing that he can put onto his other clones. It's just not fair, dude. And even if somehow you are able to do all of this, if we assume that when Naruto dies, his clones don't, he can just use Chiyo's jutsu to bring his original body back to life. Or his clones can use Rene Tensei to bring him back to life.
Whoa, yeah.
Or he can have somebody use Edo Tensei to bring him back to life. Because the other thing is that he would have access to Sasori sleeper agent genjutsu. So he'd just be able to program people to do whatever he wants, and one of those things would be to use, like we said, Chiyo's jutsu or Edo Tensei to bring him back, and then when he's Edo Tensei, he could do all this stuff himself, to get his real body back anyway, right? This Naruto is going to be very difficult to kill. I don't even know if you could do it, actually.
Yeah, I mean, not to mention, a lot of these dimensions Naruto is hiding behind are, ability locked. They're ability exclusive. You can't just go into Kamui, right? You can't just go in. So there's no way for most people to even get to the original Naruto in order to kill him. To get
yeah.
Clones, they can all do the exact same thing that guy's doing.
Some more utility stuff that he would have when fighting is he can teleport anywhere with Flying Thunder God, obviously, with Code's claw marks. And a cool bit of synergy here is, since he has the Rinnegan, particularly Sasuke's Rinnegan, and he has all these clones that he can make. The Rinnegan and anything that's connected to the original owner of the Rinnegan, they all have shared vision. So Naruto should be able to see through the eyes of all of his clones.
Oh shit,
and
yeah.
That means that he should be able to switch places with anything that he or his clones are.
Yeah, because of the Rinnegan ability of swapping. Oh my god, you can't even touch him. You can't touch him.
Looking at. He could also probably just make his clones with flying Raijin seals on them, with enough training. I don't really see why that wouldn't be the case. And so, I mean, he could just teleport anywhere he sends one of his clones. He could teleport to anything any of his clones is looking at. And since he has, bare minimum, 5,000 of them, this means that he has access to pretty much any location on the entire planet. Whenever he wants. But it's not just limited to 5,000, because, like you said, he can make an unlimited amount inside of Sukuna Hikona. So he can really just go anywhere inside of any of these space-times that he has access to. Whenever he wants, right? It could just be instant. You throw an attack at him, bam. The clone that it's probably going to be a clone that you're fighting, is gone. And even if you get to the real Naruto inside of these other time spaces, he can just teleport to those other time space, like
so
the real
mad.
world,
It's so,
the afterlife.
it is so cool to like put these techniques together and be like, this is how they would complement each other if he did have them. It's just so insane. Like he can switch himself around, but also have the flying Raijin where like he could switch and then instantly teleport to a kunai that he's thrown down there to still just be zipping all over the goddamn place.
Kamui, Aminominaka, like whatever, right? Like wherever you find the real Naruto, he can just go back into one of the other time spaces.
Yeah.
You have to figure out how to go back there and find him, and it just sounds like a huge pain in the ass, especially when he has all of these other defensive like options available to him. The last few things that I want to cover are like the third Hokage's crystal ball. He'd be able to mind control people with Koto Amatsukami, that sort of
Yeah.
thing. So that would make him pretty strong.
As I was saying at the
He'd be
start,
able to
yeah.
switch bodies with people with mind transfer.
Oh my god, yeah.
Possession for paralysis. Like, there's a lot of stuff that you could probably think of that has like minor or potentially major utility, especially when he's able to basically create like an infinite chakra supply with the clone Sukuna Hikona combo that we talked about. But yeah, we can just move past that stuff to talk about the shinjutsu and why they make him like completely unbeatable.
Okay. Now, I kind of hinted at it earlier, and Swag stopped me with Damon's reflection ability.
Yo.
So the way Damon's reflection ability works is if Damon has his palm on someone, anyone, doesn't matter if it's a dead body or not, any ability you shoot at him with murderous intent or not gets reflected back onto you. So Naruto, say he's touching his clones, or the clones are touching themselves or whatever, you can't hit him whatsoever. No matter what you throw at Naruto, it will always come
Be
back.
deflected.
Now, there's some different verses out there where if you attack yourself with your own type of energy, it's not going to do as much damage to you, but it doesn't matter. If you can't hit your opponent, you can't win anyway. Now, that's just one of the, like, overpowered abilities. Now, another one he would have would be Ada's love ability, which wouldn't make you want to attack Naruto
In the first place, yeah.
To get to the reflection ability. Ada's ability, it basically just hinders you from ever wanting to attack her because you fall in love with her. It doesn't have to be romantic, like you see with Shikamaru is not romantic, but whatever the thing may be, if it harms Ada, you don't want to do it to her. It literally stops your hand or whatever. It does the same thing to Code. Now, omnipotence makes Naruto anything you want Naruto to be. What this ability allows you to do is make abilities. So Shibai made those last two abilities using this ability while he's in his weaker form. So with this, Naruto can get rid of the weaknesses to certain jutsu. If he uses creation of all things, he can create things to do with the jutsu. Like, for example, say he makes a shadow clone. You can use creation of all things to make the shadow clone a real person and broken things like that.
He could also use creation of all things to make somebody's blood. By the way, this is something we didn't talk about yet, but he could use creation of all things to make somebody's blood, lick it, and then use the Jashin curse to kill them.
Oh my god, without even attacking them.
Like, there's that as well. So like,
That's so sick. Eee, my god, that's mental. Whoa. I don't even need to attack you. I have your blood already. There. Boom. Dead. Whoa.
if you don't have like, if your organs like are like weak or vulnerable or whatever, which is true even for Dragon Ball characters, for example, right? Then like Naruto can just do that, stab himself, and you die. Or he could use the Jashin curse and then like use Datara's C0 to blow himself up. Similar like end result.
Yeah.
And then, too, in a cross-verse manner, like, if you talk about Naruto versus Goku, Naruto can just make Ultra Instinct. If he sees it, he can make Super Saiyan or Super Saiyan 1 or Super Saiyan 2. He could make himself a Logia or whatever from One Piece.
He could give himself Haki, too.
Yeah. He could make himself Infinity from JJK or Unlimited Void, the different domain expansion.
Yo.
Like, he could genuinely do anything with that ability. It's really to the point where I think that those debates became nonsensical once that ability got introduced into the series.
Yeah, because it's just like, I mean, there are so many things that characters can do in Naruto that are already really, really ridiculous. Like Orochimaru's body steel, we haven't talked about yet. Things like that that have like weird weaknesses or drawbacks. Like he can't use it except for once every like 3 years. But then with omnipotence, because he's aware of the ability, like he doesn't even have to be that clever to think of it. Because he's aware of Orochimaru's body steel, he could just be like, oh, I can make that, except without the 3-year cooldown and without any ability for the person I'm using it against to resist it at all. And so he could just like steal people's bodies, like say Goku or whatever, right? And he could eliminate the need for physical contact. He could just make it like activated the same way a Genjutsu is. Like
Goddamn.
Just points at you and you're under Genjutsu. He could like do that with omnipotence. So he could like look at you, point at you. If you finally manage to track down his real body somehow, by the way, and then like he just steals your body, and then you lose, and he gets all your abilities anyway.
Yeah, it's like, okay, imagine Naruto makes a different dimension using Kaguya's ability, right? Like he makes an ice dimension where instead of it just being really cold, there's like absolute zero in there. Or like a lava dimension where the fire actually like melts the skin off of your bones or whatever.
He could also make a dimension of just pure nature energy, for example, like where there's enough like plants or something that give off like more nature energy than like the real world does. So he would be able to like power up all of his sage modes tremendously too. He would probably be able to create a dimension of just like Totsuka blades. So when he takes you there, you just get stabbed. You get sealed inside of the Susanoo gourd that Itachi had. Like it's just stupid. There's really no upper limit to what he'd be able to do.
Yeah, and then if you talk about just like what Chibai did after he obtained this, like Naruto has the potential to become like a fourth dimensional being as well. Which I mean that just makes him even more unbeatable.
I'm trying to think like what like what win condition can you possibly give somebody like Luffy? I guess I mean you just can't, right? Like I know that there are like fruits in One Piece that allow you to access alternate dimensions or something, but they wouldn't be able to get you into Kamui. That's ability locked. Like Minato can't just teleport into Kamui because
No, you have to have the eye or be
puts the mark in a
yeah
different dimension.
be
Like,
brought
that's
in.
not how it works. The only people who can get into that dimension are people with Kamui. That's why Madara had to take Kakashi's eye in order to do
To
it.
get in. Yeah, that makes
But,
sense.
but
Yeah.
see, like the thing is, like whatever you do give to the other character, Naruto could just make the counter for that.
Yeah.
Right? Like he can make jutsus without weaknesses. Like any of the weaknesses, like Damon, putting his palm on someone, those were all gained whenever Chibai had to put a limit on the power of the specific jutsu. If Naruto has infinite chakra and all that, he doesn't have to do things like that. He doesn't have to put a restriction or a limit on his jutsu. So like, say Luffy does figure out how to get into Kamui. Like I don't know, Naruto now makes the Kamui dimension. You can't enter it if you're a pirate, or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. It's just really, really goofy. And like, even if you get past all those other things, you still have like Damon's reflection to deal with. Like, you have to be able to withstand your own attacks, and like the attacks don't even come out, right? Like, you get hit by your ability before Naruto would, and you have to bypass Ada's love ability too. Like, there's just too many things that you have to have answers for.
Yeah, you
He's
can't
also
do it.
immortal,
You can't
and
beat
you
him.
have
You
to
can't
kill
fight
him
him.
5 times. Like
Yeah.
Izanagi. It's just stupid.
Yeah, genuinely, I cannot think of a single win condition that you could give anybody under this circumstance. Like, not when Naruto can just create anything he wants to.
So it's like, I know it's kind of like boring and like no fun allowed-ish. Like, some people are going to say this is like a no limits fallacy type of thing, but it's not our fault that Naruto has all this stupid shit like all over.
It exists within the verse of
Naruto
Naruto, so yeah.
to be used together. That's the thing, right? That's what makes it interesting when people fight each other with like 1 or 2 of these abilities at a time. But when you give them all to somebody at once, it's just like, it's not fair at all. And like, again, like we said at the beginning, he has all these stat amps too that would make the ability so much more effective than they are when we first see them. There are a couple other things that he might be able to do that we haven't talked about that are a little silly. Like, he'd be able to say, I don't know, look at like a star or like a planet or whatever in the sky. His vision would probably be amped massively by the Byakugan, and he'd be able to increase the range with omnipotence or whatever too. So, but anyway, anything that he could see in the entire universe, even if he doesn't have his vision amped by the Byakugan, if he just looks at a star in the sky and it's a little blip, he just use Amino Tejikara to switch places with it and like keep doing it until he finds planets with chakra fruits on them to power himself up the way the Otsutsuki were planning to, and then just get stronger and stronger. In addition to like the infinite clone chakra fruit method, and like using the Preta path to absorb people's chakra and stuff, and all of the other amps he has. Like this version of Naruto is just like really, really disgustingly powerful. So like I mean, if you can think of any way for like another anime character or whatever that isn't like outer versal or something by default to beat him, like leave it in the comments, I guess. But it's not occurring to me, and it's not occurring to Six. Also, if there are any other cool synergies, sort of like
Could Saitama from One Punch Man beat Naruto with every jutsu? Could he? That's the interesting question now. I feel like Swag's created a whole new different discussion here. Like Naruto with every jutsu is just absolutely like stacked. But could Saitama beat him?
the like Amino Tejikara clone thing that we talked about. Leave them in the comments. I want to read some of them because this is a pretty fun topic in my opinion. But yeah, Six. If you don't have anything to add, I think I'm ready to wrap up.
No, I don't think I have anything to add. It's just like with Naruto being this overpowered, it's not. There's no way for it to be inconsistent because there's no way in the world Naruto would ever achieve all of the things we're talking about. But like with omnipotence specifically in creation of all things, I mean, there's a reason why the guy who had it, we never even get introduced to him. Like the ability's too broken for it to be in a manga and for a character to just have it now. The only time that jutsu ever gets used in Boruto is by accident with Kurama.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
He flips the world upside down.
Yeah, dude, it like changes everything completely. The effects are like tremendous. So, you know, usual YouTuber stuff here at the end. Thanks for watching the video all the way through the end. This one's pretty long. If you're new here, subscribe. If you haven't yet, go subscribe to Six's channel. Hope you have a great day, and yeah, take care. Bye, everybody.
I love that Swag is back, man. I love this. And I love that he's straight away second video done a collab with Six, man. That's so friggin' cool. And that was a really cool video to watch. Such an interesting concept. And I loved the explanation of, like, you know, adding it all on, what it would do. Just, could Saitama win? Could Saitama from One Punch Man beat him? Naruto with every jutsu. That should be the next video. But yeah, that's class. Thanks very much for watching.
Like and subscribe. Pixel Party Pals. Pixel Party Pals.